Let us chant Namo Tassa before the start of the session. Namo Tassa Bhagavatu Arahatu Samha Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavatu Arahatu Samha Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavatu Arahatu Samha Sambuddhassa. Now, where are the cameras? Why is no one in the mood to on cameras these days? Okay, Geeta, thank you.
Bhante, my one is out of order. I had to order a new one.
Ah,
So probably tomorrow I order a new one and then I'll be back on photo. Yeah.
okay, carry. Now, can you see my screen, everyone? Okay.
But excuse me, Bhante, I sort of can't hear you.
Can everyone else hear me properly?
I can't hear you, Bhante.
We
Yes,
can hear you.
we can hear you.
I can hear
We can
everybody.
hear
I
you,
could hear,
Bhante.
I could hear that was everybody now. But only Bhante's, I can't get it really.
Oh, maybe
I'll
your.
have to use my.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Is it louder?
Slightly, but I'll try to improve it at this end.
I think it might be
Thank
something.
you, Bhante. I'll do something here.
All right.
Thank you. I'll try it here then.
All right. So let us come to. We have finished. We have finished the section on. Number 9. We finished number 9 last time, didn't we? So we have to move on to pre-nascence support today. Right? Am I correct? Pre-nascence support.
Ante, we have done pre-nascence.
Did we do pre-nascence?
Purajata, yes.
Pachajata?
Pachajata we didn't do.
Okay, so then Pachajata today.
Yeah.
Right? Postnascence. Let us turn to postnascence now. Pachajata. Here we go. Number 313. 313, everyone. Postnascence. Postnascence is a condition where a conditioning state assists conditioned states that has arisen prior to itself by supporting and strengthening them. The conditioning states in this relation, are subsequently arisen chittas and chetasikas. Subsequently arisen chittas and chetasikas. Subsequently arisen chittas and chetasikas. The conditioned states are the material phenomena of the body born of the four causes. Again, the conditioned states are the material phenomena of the body born of the four causes. Which material phenomena had arisen along with the preceding chittas. This condition begins with the first bhavanga in relation to the material phenomena born of karma at that time, at the time of rebirth linking. Again, this condition begins with the first bhavanga in relation to the material phenomena born of karma. The first bhavanga. Now, the first bhavanga, what is a material phenomena that is born by karma? We discussed, I think last week we discussed it, didn't we? What? Yes.
Adele?
Yes. So Kammaja Rupa, we discussed last time that the arising of the Hadevastu as the Kammaja Rupa, right? At the moment of rebirth and after the first Bhavanga, remember we discussed, and after the first Bhavanga, it changes. Now, what is that change? This condition begins with the first Bhavanga. This is postnacense in relation to the material phenomena born of Kamma at the moment of rebirth linking. So, Hadevastu, right? Just as the rainwater that falls later promotes the growth and development of the already okay something ticked in my mind. Okay, so just as rainwater that falls later promotes growth and development of the already arisen existing vegetation, so the subsequently arisen mental state support the pre-arisen material phenomena so that they continue to produce similar material phenomena in succession. Can someone, does that make sense? Now, what are we talking about? Yes, Geeta, are you trying to say something? No? Okay. Now, this condition begins with the first bhavanga. Now, this is, what is this we're talking about? Postnacense. There's Pure Jata Pacha, Pacha Jata Pacha, right? Pacha Jata Pacha. Now, in Pacha Jata, Pacha, this is Pacha Jata Pacha, right? Oh, we should probably have read this as well. Pacha Jata Chetasika Dhamma Pure Jatasa Imasa Kayas Pacha Jata Vasena Ti Ekada Vanam Rupasa Pacho Hoti. Only in one way is mind a condition for matter. Subsequent consciousness and mental factors. Subsequent consciousnesses and mental factors are a condition for the preceding material body by the way of postnacense. What does that mean? Actually, that makes more sense than all what we've read, right? Now, what does that mean, everyone? What do we think? What do we think? Only in one way is mind a condition for matter. Subsequent consciousness and mental factors. The matter for me, let us say that I have the lifespan or the karmic energy, the karmic potency to be able to live for, let us say, 80 or 90 years. Right? Now, because of that karmic potency, what arises? The Bhavanga process, Kammajarupa process, isn't it? Now, have the Chittas and Chetasikas, which will last up until the age of 80, have they arisen? No. Have those karmas arisen? No. Right? But that karmic potency that is there, karma is not permanent, no? It also rises and passes. That potency, that potential, what does that allow? That allows the Bhavanga, that Bhavanga process and those Kammaja Rupas, right? Now read it again. Only in one way is mind a condition for matter. Subsequent consciousness and mental factors are a condition for this preceding body by way of postnacense. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear? Does that sort of make better sense? Right?
Sorry, Bhante. Can you explain once more,
Yes.
please? Thank you.
So when we go through the process of rebirth, right? When we go through the process of rebirth, through the power of the rebirth linking consciousness, we attain to a position of rebirth that is suitable and fitting to the energy that we bring with the Patisandhi karma, isn't it? Depending on the Patisandhi karma, the family, the Ausha, the birth, the country, the neighborhood, all of these things, sort of, it's like a, like a piece of a puzzle, right? Which in that sense, it might only be male or female or whatever, but that puzzle brings so much of meaning to the whole picture, right? It just simply goes and fits them, the consciousness, right? Now, when we talk about Pacha Jata, Pachaya, we are talking about the fact that something in the future supports or conditions something which is in the past to arise. Or rather, let me maybe reword it, something that has not arisen supporting the arising of this mental state and bodily phenomena, Nam and Rupa, right? Nam and Rupa. Now that is the foundation. Hari, that is the foundation. If we are to go a step further, what does that mean? What that means is this. Now, let us say, let us take this example. Because of weak karma, this egg and sperm, we are coming to the egg and sperm, but we are not going to go too far into the egg and sperm. We are going to cap it at one point. Damsri, don't get too excited. We are not going to go there today. Right. In the fertilization process, let us say the karma is such that this process will not end or will not come to full fruition, right? So Patisandhi arises with the Patisandhi Hadevastu arises and all of that Kammaja Rupas. But what happens? The development is not strong. The development is weak. Why? Because the potential, karmic potential is not there, right? But karmic potential is in the future. But that karmic potential is Shakti Natu Hetuving, because that karmic potential is not there, the development of this time is affected. Do you understand? Now, in another manner, taking that same example, with a Trihetuka Patisandhi, with a potential of having a lifespan of 80 years or 100 years, a healthy person, there is potential for a healthy being to be born with all the faculties in proper order. What does that then mean? That potential allows for this Hadevastu and whatever material phenomena that develop to develop in reflecting that. Do you understand? Right? But at the end, we are only talking about one thing, because at the moment of Bhavanga, the Hadevastu is not so sophisticated. If you understand what I mean, it's not sophisticated. We are talking about potential, right? Potential. At the moment of rebirth linking, it is Pacha Jata Pachaya. At the moment of rebirth linking. Because of that potential in the future, this process arises. උප්පත්තියක් හට ගැනීමට ඔහු උප්පත්තියක් ලබා ගැනීමට කර්මයක් හේතුවෙන් තිබූ හේතුවෙන් උප්පත්තියක් හටගන්නවා. Does that make sense? Because there's a karma to attain rebirth or to gain a rebirth, there is rebirth. Do you understand? Or rather birth. Because there is a karma which allows for rebirth or brings about rebirth, there is birth. Without the karma, would there be birth? No. Do you understand? Right? Now that
Yes,
is
Bhante.
what we're talking about.
Thank
Is
you.
it clear?
Yes, Bhante.
That is
Thank
how
you.
Pacha Jata Pathya works. Is that clear, everyone? Noeline, how are you doing over there? Does that make sense?
Yes, Bhante, thank you.
Yeah, does that make sense? I have no problem explaining a bit further if anyone wants me to.
Bhante,
Yeah.
One word.
the conditioning state is mine in this particular case. Nama
The conditioning state.
is Nama.
Conditioning state is Nama.
Because Bhikkhu Bodhi categorized this particular one under mind to matter.
Yes, mind to matter. Yes.
Yeah, mind to matter.
Mind
So
to
conditioning is mind and condition one is matter.
Matter. Matter.
Yeah,
Because that mind studies the potential.
that's right. Because now mind is the potential and its future. Mind is one step ahead.
Ahead.
Yeah,
Mind
because
is one step ahead.
that means bhavanga. When it comes to bhavanga, you help all the other karmaja rupa, strengthen the karmaja rupa already existed
However,
at the patisandhi.
at the moment of, then we can say so with regards to Uttuja Rupa Damsiri.
Yeah. Okay.
However, with regards to Kammaja Rupa arises at the moment of Titi.
Okay.
Uppada.
Uppada.
Kammaja Rupa arises at the moment of Uppada.
But okay.
Uttuja Rupa arises at the moment of Titi.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Chitta Rupa arises from the
Bhavanga. Sorry. No. Yeah, Bhavanga. Bhavanga.
No. Kamma, Chitta, Uttu. Ahara we can't say when.
Yeah.
Ahara we can't say when. Chitta Rupa arises from the Patthana, Bhavanga.
Bhavanga. Yeah.
The second Bhavanga, right? This, or rather the first Bhavanga. No. Yes. Okay, let me. The Patisandhi, which is also Bhavanga. Hurry. The Patisandhi, which is also Bhavanga in the new birth. That Patisandhi at the moment of that Patisandhi at the moment of, look here. The Patisandhi, we call it Patisandhi. However, remember that this Patisandhi is also a type of Bhavanga Chitta. Now, this Kammaja arises from the moment of Uppada, the first one.
Yeah.
Chitta the Rupa starts with the Bhavanga. The first Uppada. Right? Uppada. This Bhavanga, right? This Kammaja, the Patisandhi, during this moment, with the Chitta here, with the Patisandhi Chitta, the Hade Vastu arises at the moment of Uppada.
Yeah, okay.
May Hade Vastu Padanam Kragana, taking of the Hade Vastu becoming the foundation, Chitta Drupa arises from the moment of Bhavanga of the second mental formation, which is this Bhavanga. Do you understand everything? Is that clear? The first Chitta that arises is a Patisandhi Chitta. Right? The Patisandhi. Uppada Titibanga. Then the Bhavanga arises second. Right? It is at this Uppada moment that the Chitta the Rupas arise. This Chitta the Rupa arises Because the Hadevastu has arisen here. Right? Because the Hadevastu has arisen here. Now, Damsiri Padakinna, now it is because why does this, or by what God-given right does this Bhavanga, this Hadevastu arise? Is the question here. Right? By what right? The right of the karmic potential that exists here. Do you understand? Right? Now, if something arises, it must go through a process. If we are looking at the chittas and chetikas, in any case, let us say this being has the ability to live for 120 years, regardless. Has the ability of living, or for chitta, chaitaka, dharmas of arising for 1 to 2 days, regardless. Right? Regardless, what is going to happen? If there is birth, even for 1 or 2 days, right? That whatever which happens inside the womb, at the moment the chitta starts arising, even for 1 day, even for 30 minutes, should consciousness impart itself, or consciousness begin within this process, that means a being has been born. If consciousness arises, Patisandhi has taken place. Patisandhi taking place means Hadevastu has arisen. Even if it is for 30 minutes, what would happen? The Bhavanga would arise next. It is because of this continuum of Bhavanga, the continuum of the Chitta Chaitasika Viti, that this Hadevastu arises. Me Shaktiya Tina Hetuen Tamai, me Hadevastu Hataganne. Do you understand what I'm trying to get at? Right? Even if it is for a minute, now we know for a minute, Viti Dharmagatot. If we are to take Vitis, Chitta Vitis, there can be hundreds of thousands of Chitta Vitis running, maybe even going into the millions. Processing data so fast, right? Processing Chittas and Chaitasikas, processing so fast, right? Think of that. Even if this being only lasts for a minute within the womb of a mother, or within the womb of an animal, or whatever being, even if it is just for a minute, what will happen? Even for the minute, Patisandhi would happen. With Patisandhi, Hadevastu would arise. Why? Because it has the karmic potential or energy of Jivita Indriya continuing for even a minute or 30 seconds or 20 seconds. Do you understand? ඒ ශක්තිය තියෙන හේතුවෙන් තමයි මේ හදේ වස්තුව හටගන්නේ. ඒ හේතුවෙන් පච්චාජාත, this is පච්චාජාත. Do you understand? Postnacense. Is that clear, everyone? Does that make sense? Yeah? Yeah? Okay? Can we move on? Okay. Any questions? Damse, did you want to say something?
Yeah, Bhante, let's clarify that one, right?
Okay.
No, Pachajata is sort of you help the conditioned state to support and strengthening. It's written in Bhikkhu Bodhi's statement.
Okay.
It helps supporting and strengthening. That means it has already there, but Bhavanga is supporting and strengthening the Karmaja Rupa already
Yes.
existing.
Yeah, because Rupa Damsiri and et al. Takes one mind moment to mature to give effect.
Yeah.
Right? So
Oh.
even if it just arises, it takes one mind moment to mature enough to now give effect. That is true with regard to Rupa
Yeah.
or Rupa Ramana even our Ramana takes one mind moment to mature. So හට අරගෙන විතරක් වැඩක් නැහැ. mature වෙන්න නැත්තම්. ඔතන mature වෙන්න ශක්තිය කොයිද තියෙන්නේ? Right now, again, going back to this chart here, Upada, Titi, Banga. Upada moment, Hadevastu rises.
Yes.
Now, rising is not enough. It must mature. So look, Titi and Banga. This Upada moment it arises, so this energy supported its arising.
Yeah.
Now who's going to support its? Who's going to support the maturation? The same energy, right? The same energy. Now, what is this energy, everyone? What is the name for this energy? අර භවංග පරම්පරාව අනාගතයට හටගන්නේ මේ ශක්තිය කොයින්ද එන්නේ? Where does that energy arise from?
Pratya energy.
Huh?
Pratya energy. It is postnascent conditioning energy. Postnascent.
Yeah, everything is conditioning energy now.
Yeah. So that means your future bhavanga that's going to happen, right? The potential for bhavanga giving the strength to mature the mature in the titi stage.
Okay, what is that energy though?
Energy is
Is it Jivitendriya? Is it karma?
No. It is actually the post-nascent of bhavanga. That means there's a potential for bhavanga. So bhavanga, it's explained in the Bhikkhu Bodhi's one also. So the bhavanga is the conditioned state. The bhavanga, future bhavanga is the conditioned state to support the karmaja rupa in the previous chitta, which is Patthana chitta.
Yes, but what you're explaining is Dhamma Postnacense, which is correct.
Yeah, postnacense. Yeah, that's exactly.
That is correct. But the Bhavanga arises, the continuum of Bhavanga arises. Why? We can't say that Bhavanga arises because of postnascence.
No.
Right? Bhavanga arises of what Mala and Hemali said was correct. It is karma Jivitindriya. Jivitindriya is karma. What is that karma? Garuka Kamma.
Yeah.
Right? That karma is Garuka Kamma. Right? So Garuka Kamma is what will allow or what will sort of negate the lifespan. The continuation of that lifespan. Right? And we discussed this last week, neither. Right? All right. Is that clear, everyone? Shall we move on? Are we okay? We have to look at the numbers, right? Let us look at the numbers. Here we go. Oh. Can you see the screen? Yes? Okay. Now, the numbers. Here. Postnascence. In the 5 aggregates plane, why Panchavokara Bhumi? Because Hadevastu does not arise in planes where there is no materiality. It does not arise. It only arises in the Panchavokara Bhumi, which is the 5 aggregate plane, where there are the 5 aggregates. The later 85 chittas starting from the first bhavanga. The later 85 chittas starting from the first bhavanga. right? The conditioned state is matter of the body arisen along with the preceding chitta from rebirth on at the moment of presence, at phase of presence. In the 5 aggregate plane, matter of body arisen along with preceding chitta from rebirth on at phase of presence. What is the conditioning? From the first bhavanga on, that conditions the arising of the matter of body arisen along with the preceding chitta at the moment of from rebirth. So the Patisandhi moment at the phase of presence. Upad, it's talking about titi. From rebirth on, at the moment of presence. From rebirth on at phase of presence. From rebirth on. This phase of presence should be here because it also says from rebirth on. So here, if we go back to that chart, from rebirth on, where is that chart? Can you see this chart? No? Can you see the Bhavanga? Or what are you seeing now? Okay, let me show. Can you see this now?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay. Now, from the process from rebirth, right? From rebirth, this is the new life here, right? The last VT of the previous birth, right? At the moment of now, Kamma Rupa arises here. At the moment of presence, again, the arising and the maturation. At the moment of presence, on, right? Conditioned by the first bhavanga up until the rest, right? The first bhavanga up until the rest. So the material body, because matter takes one mind moment to mature. Right? Where it can distinctively be taken, right? Now, even for example, when Rupa Ramana comes into play, Rupa Ramana arises, but we consider Rupa Ramana only at the moment of presence. Right? Only at the moment of presence does the Rupa Ramana now affect the Viti. Is that clear? Because it takes one mind moment for a Rupa to mature. It is only when the Rupa matures that the Rupa is able to give its impact of force. Now, in the table we are talking about, this first Bhavanga moment conditioned. The conditioning state is this Bhavanga moment onward, starting from this Bhavanga, right? The later 85 chittas, right? Starting from the first Bhavanga, right? Starting from the first Bhavanga. Why? Because what are the chittas that are not here? 85 chittas, there are 89 chittas. What are the chittas which are not here?
Bhante, that fifth jhana.
Okay. Fifth jhana.
Yeah.
Kusala,
Kusala, yeah.
the rebirth ones. Vipaka. No, because fifth jhana, there are 3 categories, right?
For fifth jhana, last one.
Last one.
Yeah.
Right? Fifth jhana. Why? Because Panchavokara Bhumi.
Yeah.
Right? Panchavokara Bhumi. It will not give rise within the Panchavokara Bhumi rebirth. Right? So, is that clear, everyone? From the method, what should be understood is the mind condition the arising and supporting the maturation of the Hadaya Vastu. Right? The mind, what is then the mind? Chittadaru, chittaja. Right? This chitta, I'm sorry, not the chitta, but babanga. The babanga is what carries that karmic potency energy. Right? Because what is a vibration or what is a bhavanga chitta? The bhavanga chitta vibrates by the same power of the patisandhi chitta. Right? This patisandhi chitta, the bhavanga starts producing its own at the moment of bhavanga. This bhavanga me bhavange hataganna hetuwen thamai මේ හදේ වස්තුව මෙතන හටගන්නේ. ඒත් හදේ වස්තුව කර්මජ රූපයක් වශයෙන් හදේ වස්තුව උපාද මොහොතේ හටගත්තාට it takes one mind moment for it to mature. Right? So we take it from the moment of presence. Now, how can we further relate that? Maturation needs the tejo dhatu. Maturation is tejo. Right? What is tejo? Uttu. Where does Uttu arise? Second. Is that clear, everyone? Look at that now. Without the Uttu, how can this upad metana hatakate there then make a better karanna onene? Right? It must come into a position where it's impacting. Right? Where does that happen? With the tejo. Without the tejo, how can that maturation happen? Where does the tejo rise? At the moment of presence of the patisandhi. Is that clear? See? Tejo. Right? Yeah, is that clear, everyone? Does that make sense? So then we take the conditioning force is the first bhavanga onwards up until the 85 chittas and the 52, their respective 52 chetasikas, right? Excluding the fifth jhana because it arises in the arupa vachara plane, right? So 85 chittas and their 52 chetasikas, right? From the first bhavanga. And what does it condition? Conditioned by that arises within the 5 aggregate plane, the material body from rebirth at the moment of presence. The material body from rebirth at the moment of presence. From rebirth on at the moment of presence. Because it is at that moment, may Uttu, there is, Uttu, when we sort of also go deeper, Uttu has a special role that it plays. Because karma, in most instances, works through Uttu. Right? When, especially now, for example, we spoke about last week about cancer cells and the fact that we all have cancer cells in our body. The only fact that we wouldn't say that we have cancer, right? Touch wood, is the fact that they have not matured into a specific state. That maturation, should we have the karmas, let us say, owing to karma, right? Owing to karma, wholly because of karma, cancer is to arise. How would that happen? Through Utu. කර්මය බලපාන්නේ උතු ධාතුවට. ඒ උතු ධාතුවට බලපෑවම උතුජ රූප හට ගන්නවා. That utuja rupa is what then makes the multiplication or the multiplying of those cancer cells or whatever that process happens, right? So Utu is quite special there because Kamma operates through Utu. So it actually now makes sense, more sense actually, if not. Is that,
Bhante,
yes,
Bhante, Utu is it's kind of an energy, right?
yes,
So it's the vital energy for the utpada in the Patisandhi chitta is given is transferred by Utu in the Titi stage.
in the
Titi stage.
yes, Titi stage, correct. Titi at the second sub moment,
Yeah.
the Titi stage.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The Titi, the Kamma, the Utu, the Kamma born Utu, right?
Yeah.
Utu, which is also Kamma born, arises. It's already present at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Right. But Utuja Rupa, Utu, then, okay.
Utu is Rupa.
Tejo Dhatu is present. How do we know? Every materiality would have Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. Tejo is present, right? But Uttuja Rupa is only present at the moment of Titi. Is that understandable? Because that would then say, if Tejo is present, what does that mean? If Tejo is present at the moment of Upada, etana yam kisi Tejo being there means there is Patavi, Apo, Tejo and Vayu. Isn't it? So Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, which is understandable because we are not going to come in with the material phenomena into the mother's womb. The Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu being there is what makes it a suitable position for rebirth to take place. Right? Now, with the power of consciousness, with postnacense condition, because there is karma shakti, garuka kamma, jivita indriya potential, now arises at the moment of Titi, arises this Hadevastu, which is conditioned by the first Bhavanga up until 89, 85, and the 52 Chesikas, which can arise in the future because the karmic potential is present. Is that clear? Yes, Ma.
Bhante, why did you bring Garuka karma here? I thought Garuka karma has something, it's a very powerful karma which gives rise to Anantariya Papa karma, the jhanas and all.
I should have mentioned
Janaka.
Janaka, not Garuka, Janaka. Sorry.
Okay.
Janaka karma, right? Not Garuka, Janaka karma. Because Janaka karma is present, that process, the Hadevastu maturation, etc., takes place. Is that clear, everyone? Does that make sense? Are you not lost? Are you lost? A little bit lost? Geeta? No? Anuma?
No, Bhante, I think I will listen to it again and read and then.
Let me just very simply, I'll put it again once with this chart, okay? The last time, huh? Very simply, I'll put it again with the chart. Now, let us take the example of a mother's womb. Because of the Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, which is present as a fertilized egg, right, within the womb of the mother, it creates the perfect position for a consciousness to arise within this seat, right? This position, this physical position. Is that clear? Right? Because that egg and sperm fertilization has taken place and all of that, this is like, it's waiting. It's like a cot waiting for a baby kind of thing, right? Now, that means mother's Patavi Apo Tejo Vayo, mother's karma is what then maintains those sort of that physicality then. Because now, at the moment of when the rebirth process is starting, right? We come from the previous birth. Chuti chitte hatagannawa. The chuti chitta arises cutting our ties to our previous body. And at the cutting of the ties, the immediate next moment, this patisandhi chitta arises at the in or within a suiting place, suitable for those or in line with the karmas that we pass. Is that understood? Yeah. Now, at that time, Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo exists, right? However, that exists, that Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, let us say my Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, conditioned by this Chutti and that Patisandhi process, right, arises. However, although it has arisen, now, although it has arisen, right, it has arisen. Now, after this, it comes to this. It has arisen. However, it has not matured as yet. Because for anything to mature, right, it takes, for materiality to mature, it takes one mind moment, right? It takes one mind moment for it to mature. So now we are at the Patisandhi Uppadya Paukarla then Titi Avasthavita. We have arrived at the moment of presence. Now this moment of presence, what do we have? We have Hadevastu, Kamma Rupa, which is a Kamma Rupa. And at this moment we have Uttuja Rupa as well. Right? Uttuja Rupa as well. The Uttuja and the Kammaja. Now we are speaking only about the Kammaja. This Kammaja Rupa which is present here is supported by factors that have not arisen yet. What is that? The karmic potential or the potential of the Bhavanga and this whole process, all the 85 chittas, 52 chetasikas which are going to arise later supports this to arise. A anagate evini chitta චෛතසික ධර්මයන් හට ගැනීමට ශක්තිය තිබුණ හේතුවෙන් මේ අවස්ථාවේ මේ හෘද වස්තුව හට ගන්නවා. Is that clear? That is it. Right? That is
Thank you, Bhante. Very clear.
Right? That is it. Where? That is it. Right? Is it clear? Okay, good. Moving
Yes, Bhante.
on. Moving.
Very clear.
All right. Now, that is then we have in the five aggregate plane later 85 chittas starting from the first bhavanga and the 52 chesikas are the conditioning state. They condition the arising of material matter of body arisen along with preceding chitta, right? Preceding chitta. From rebirth on at the phase of presence. From rebirth on at the phase of presence. Hara, is that clear? Can we move on, everyone? Good. Now, repetition. Repetition, right? Repetition. Now, let us go to repetition. Yes. Repetition. Does anyone know the page? Mutual support, nutrient, faculty. This is
307.
307. Okay. Yeah, no, not in 307. No? That's association. Repetition.
306, Bhante. 306.
Right, we are here. Now, repetition condition is a condition where the conditioning mental state causes the conditioned states, mental phenomena similar to itself to arise with increased power and efficiency after it has ceased. Just as a student, by repeated study, becomes more proficient in his lessons, so the conditioning states, by causing states similar to themselves to arise in succession, impart greater proficiency and strength to them. What are the chittas that we are thinking of?
Javana Chittas.
Correct. The conditioning states in this relation are solely mundane wholesome. The conditioning states in this relation are solely mundane wholesome, unwholesome, and functional mental phenomena at any given moment in the javana process, except the last javana. Why? Why not the last javana?
Because it's the next one is
Tadalambana.
yeah.
Or something which is not the
Not similar. Not similar.
not
Yeah?
similar, exactly.
Yeah.
Not similar. Insofar as they serve as a condition for mental phenomena having the same karmic quality, wholesome, unwholesome, or function. In the following javana moment, right, having the same karmic quality in this following javana moment, right? The latter are the conditioned states in this relation. Although the four supramundane path chittas are wholesome javanas, they do not become the conditioning states of repetition condition because they are followed by fruition chittas, right? Which are resultants, and thus the repetition essential to this relation is lacking. And though fruition chittas can occur in succession in the javana process, because they are resultants, they do not meet the full definition of the conditioning states in repetition condition. However, the triple-rooted sense-sphere wholesome chittas, which immediately precede the path chittas, are conditioning states, and the latter are conditioned states in the repetition condition, right? In the repetition condition. So all the chittas that can or do repeat themselves in terms of being karmically efficient, right, are now included here. Now look, the 47 mundane javanas, excluding the last javana, right, now of the same kind. They have to be of the same kind. So within that same Viti process, is that clear? Right? So we are not speaking of all javanas at one time. We are talking about one javana at one time. It has to be the same. Taking that javana, which is repetitive, other than the last javana, and their respective 52 chetasikas. Is that clear? And there are 52 chetasikas. The conditioned by that arises the following 51 javanas, excluding the first javana and the fruit javana. The fruit javana is because it is phala. Phala is the result of the magga. Magga phala. Right? So it is a resultant. Right? It is a resultant. So what are we talking about? Why now phala samapat during the moment of attaining to phala, whatever phala it is, it vibrates twice or so. Right? But then when we go into phala samapatti, right, then that vibration continues for as long as the phala samapatti is stayed in for, right? So if it is a day that we spend in phala samapatti, then for a day the phala chitta would vibrate. However, it vibrates as a resultant, right? Do you understand? It vibrates or it arises, it arises as a resultant. Phala samapatti khalin api atvinda e phaleta නැවත අපි ආවර්ජනා වීම. ඒතේ ඵලය මාර්ගයෙන් දැක්ක ඒ ඵලය මාර්ගයේ විපාකයක් වශයෙන් තමයි ඒ ඵලය ඒ මොහොතේ හටගන්නේ. It is a vipaka chitta. Do you understand? Hence we do not take, right, that fruit javana. Do you understand? Because if within the moment of phala samapatti, depending on our determination, the phala is extended. Okay? So what is the phala extending means? The javana is extended. Yeah? That is a phala samapatti anomaly. Okay? Is that clear, everyone? Need any further explanations? Right? Again, repetition condition is where the same chitta repeats itself. And in repeating itself, those chittas gain more power, right, in repetition condition. Right? So, for repetition pachaya to be understood, or the true fact of repetition is repetition done on its own accord at that time. Not a vipaka, but karma. E vilave siduvena kruttiya. Right? Which a usual javana is. Is that understood? Hence, the first javana, right, gives way to the second javana, which is more powerful, the third javana, the fourth javana, the fifth javana, the sixth. The sixth javana, however, after which does not arise. Yes. So after that last javana, another javana does not follow. Right? Hence, we do not take that last javana. Right? So, what is then the conditioning states of this? The conditioning states should be kusala, akusala, or avyakata dharmas, right? Avyakata dharma. Or, so which is the 47 mundane javanas, excluding last javana of the same kind. Last javana of the same kind, meaning we are not taking all javanas at one. We have to take one given case. At one given case, all javanas except the last javana. Right? Except the last javana. Because remember, there are some javanas which run for shorter periods. But still, a javana වීතියක් අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් ඒත් අන්තිම ජවන ගන්න බෑ. Right? Is that clear, everyone? Remember, there are weaker processes. In the weaker processes, we have about 5 or 4 javanas. So then 1, 2, 3 can be taken if it's 4 javanas, but the 4th javana cannot be taken. Is that clear? Right? And there are respective 52 chetasikas. They condition, right? They conditioned by this process. Conditioned by these mundane, right, arises following 51 javanas, excluding first javana and the fruit javana. The first javana and fruit javana, excluding the first javana and the fruit javana. So what does that mean? The 51 javanas, excluding the first javana and the fruit javana. The fruit javana is because of what? The fruit javana is because it is a vipaka, right? A vipaka chitta. Is that clear, everyone? It is a vipaka chitta. Now, what about this first javana? What does that talk about? Excluding the first javana and the fruit javana. First javana of what? First javana of what?
Bhante, I think it means there are 7 javanas.
Yeah.
The first javana is not a conditioned one because the previous one was a chakvinyana or something. It can only condition the second javana. But it is not a conditioned one because it can be a condition for the second javana, but it's not a condition. But the second one is a conditioned one and it can condition the third javana.
Correct. So the first javana and the fruit javana. Is that clear, everyone? Right? So 51 javanas. Now we know how many chittas within the compendium of chittas perform the function of javana? 51. Right? 51. However, if one of those chittas perform the function of first javana or the fruit javana, then that has to be excluded. Do you understand why, as Mahala mentioned, the first javana does not condition, it's conditioned. It conditions, it's not conditioned, right? The fruit javana because it is a vipaka. Is that clear, everyone? Any explanation, any further explanation required? Anyone who doesn't understand and needs a little bit more?
You said 53 javanas, and then you said excluding 2.
No, 51 javanas,
Yeah.
excluding those javanas that perform the fruit javana function and the first javana function. The fruit javana and the first javana.
So there should be 4 then, excluding 4.
No, we are taking excluding when that function is performed. Do you get it? How many javan chittas are there?
55.
Okay. So then at any moment when that function is performed, what is that function, right? The function is the first javana. right? The first javana and the fruit javana. What we take out is now 55. We have here, let us go. Here we have in the conditioning, you can see the chart, yes? In the conditioning, we have 47 mundane javanas are the conditioning, except the last javana, because you can't condition the arising of repetitive pachaya because there is no javana arising afterwards and their respective 52 chaitsikas. Right? The conditioning state is the following. Because of this following, the first javana is taken out. Any javana which performs at the moment of the first javana, that javana is not included in under the conditioned state because it has to follow the first javana. If it is conditioned, it needs to follow a javana. Do you understand? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Then we have 55 minus that 4. That 4 comes from where? The fruit. That vibrational fruit manga, right? That vibrational resultant of that manga is now taken out, right? So the first javana, what is included within, or let us take the first unwholesome chitta and its respective chaitasika counterparts, right? So we are taking that chitta, the first unwholesome chitta and its respective counterparts, but we are only taking, if it is Atimahantarammana Chitta Viti, we are taking from the second to the one before the last. Correct? The first one is where? The first one is here. Is that clear? The first javana is here. What do we now? What doesn't happen at all? What doesn't happen at all is the vibration of the palachittas does not happen at all. So we minus that from the 55, hence getting 51. Is that clear?
Is it what is called conditioning of kusala by kusala?
Conditioning of
Kusala by kusala?
why did you say bring that up in this case?
That's from Lady Sardar's book.
The conditioning of kusala
By kusala.
the conditioning of kusala by kusala, because well, the conditioning of kusala, well, you can apply that to the Maggaphala relationship, right? Because a marge bindu hetuවෙන් ඵලය හට ගන්නවා. මාර්ගෙත් කුසල ඵලයත් කුසල. ඒ වුණාට ඒ ඵලය ඒ මාර්ගයේ විපාකයක්. ඒ හේතුවෙන් it doesn't fall into repetition condition. So the kusala conditions the kusala to arise. Right? The kusala means, so every time that the palachitta arises, also there is a kusala involved. But that kusala arises because of the kusala, which is the maggachitta. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Is that clear, everyone? Anoma?
Yes, Bhante. Clear.
Huh?
Thank you.
Geeta, are you okay over there? Yeah? Good. Now, can we move on? Are we able to move on? Are we clear? Right. Now we have Kamma Pachaya. Right? Kamma is connascent, Sahajata Kamma Pachaya, and asynchronous Kamma Pachaya. Right? Sahajata Kamma Pachaya, asynchronous Kamma Pachaya. Asynchronous Kamma Pachaya. Now let us go to Kamma.
Page 312.
Thank you. 312, 312. Oh gosh. Kamma Pachaya. This condition is of two types, two kinds. Connascent Kamma condition, Sahajata Kamma Pachaya, and asynchronous Kamma condition, Nanakkanika Kamma Pachaya. In connascent Kamma condition, the conditioning states are the volitions, Chetana, in the 89 chittas, right? The conditioned states are the chittas and chetasikas associated with those volitions and connascent material phenomena. Again, in connascent Kamma condition, the conditioning states are the volitions, Chetana, in the 89 chittas. Chetana in the 89 chittas. The conditioned states are the chittas and chetasikas associated with those volitions and the connascent material phenomena. Volition here functions as connascent Kamma, conditioned by causing its concomitants to perform their respective tasks by arousing the appropriate kinds of material phenomena simultaneously with its own arising. Right? Simultaneously with its own arising. So then Sahajata Rupa, connascent matter, right? In asynchronous Kamma, otakota api hituot, volitions in the 89 chittas, no? So conditioning state here should be the volitions in the 89 chittas, right? And then the conditioned states should be the chittas and the chetasikas, apart from volition, and Sahajata Rupa, right? And Sahajata Rupa. Otakota ඊට පස්සේ asynchronous නානක්කනික කර්ම. Conditioned asynchronous Kamma condition, there is a temporal gap between the conditioning state and the conditioned state. ඒ කියන්නේ the volition arises at this moment. The vipaka of this volition arises sometime in the future. Maybe a moment later even. But there has to be a gap. Right? There has to be a gap. Now, with regards to Sahajata Karma, if we Yamkisi Armunak, we take a certain object with hate. Right? Hence, the Sahajata Rupas that will arise will manifest that hate within the body. Right? We look at something, we take a certain object and we arouse a sense of let us say, some wholesome kind of pleasure, sukha. Right? So our facial expressions, for example, reflect that wholesome attributes that we feel. Is that clear? So that Sahajata Rupa reflects that mind that is felt at that moment. Connascent Kamma. Is that clear, everyone? Right? So then that also gives us a different depth to what Kamma is also, or how we look at karma as well, isn't it? Etanam. Now, asynchronous karma, the conditioning state in this relation is a past wholesome or unwholesome volition. Right? Past wholesome or unwholesome volition. So we have to take all the wholesome karma chittas and unwholesome karma chittas of the past as conditioning. The conditioned state are the resultant chittas. They are chetasikas and material phenomena born of Kamma. So Kammaja Rupas and the resultants of these ones, both at rebirth linking and in the course of existence. The conditioning force here is the ability of such volition to generate the appropriate resultant mental states and Kamma-born materiality and the Kamma born materiality to generate the appropriate resultant mental states and Kamma born materiality. This conditional relation also obtains between a path consciousness and its fruition. This conditional relation also obtains between a path consciousness and its fruition. Let us go to the numbers. Right? Is that clear, everyone? This conditional relation also obtains between the path consciousness and its fruition. Right? Path consciousness and its fruition. Conascent. Now here, volitions in the 89 chittas. Volition. Volition. Chetana found in the 89 chittas in Sahajata Pachaya. Sahajata Kamma Pachaya. Right? Sahajata Kamma Pachaya. Volition. That volition fuels the arising of 89 chittas, 59 chetas, 51 chetasikas, and connascent matter. Here, excluding volition because all the volitions are the conditioning force here, right? 89 chetasikas, 51 chetasikas excluding volition, and their respective connascent matter. Is that clear? එතන විශේෂ ලොකු විස්තරයක් ඕනේ නැහැ නේද අපිට ඒක තේරෙනවා පැහැදිලි එතන. Doily, everyone? Is that clear?
Yes, Bhante.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sujata?
I'm listening to Bhante, not understanding much.
Okay. So what we are talking about here, connascent kammapacha is a karmය නිෂ්පාදනය කරන අවස්ථාවේදීම හටගන්න එකට හටගන්න ඒ ධර්මය ගැන මේ කතා කරනවා. කර්මයට සම්බන්ධව සහ සම්බන්ධව. Hence we say connascent kammapacha. So the dhammas which arise together at the moment this kamma is cultivated. So what is kamma? Chetanaham bhikkave kammam vadami. Chetana is volition. So the conditioning force, the conditioning states here, right, is volition in the 89 chittas, because volition is a chetasika, remember, and that chetasika arises in all chittas, right? Chetasika of volition arises in all chittas. So in any instance when volition is there, according to kammapacha, how does kammapacha work? The volition conditions the arising of the connascent matter, the 52, they are respective 51 chitasikas excluding volition, and the rest of the chittas as well according to karma, right? Is that clear? So 89 chittas, 51 chetasikas, connascent matter, right? Connascent matter. Now when we see sort of 81, 89 chittas, right? 89 chittas here, we might sort of sometimes imagine, oh, isn't chittas kind of like, chittas, doesn't chittas kind of take like the forerunner pace? It does. However, chittas and chetasikas arise together. If we take let us take a sort of a caravan, or let us say, a sort of a possession, right? The possession. If we are to take a possession, then අපේම මාලිගාව වෙන possession එක ගත්තොත් උදාහරණයක් මට්ටමේ, right? The toothly casket, the elephant with the toothly casket would be positioned somewhere in the middle, not right in the front, never just in the front, right? It would be positioned somewhere in the middle towards the front, right? And before and after it, there would be the dancers and all of that. Right in front, there would be like the guards or the henchmen sort of going right in front, leading the procession, right? The flag bearers and all of that. the flag bearers and all of that, let us take this instance. If the flag bearers and all of that, the people right in the front, if they stop moving, the elephant in the middle who's carrying the main object of the whole procession stops moving. Right? Just so the karma here is like those guards or the nilames right in the front. Right in the front. Right? If they stop moving, the whole procession stops moving. But the whole procession is not about them. It's not about the nilames or the guard in the front. Oh, the whole procession is about the relic casket and the chamber which is being hoisted on top of the elephant. Is that clear, everyone? Right? So karma here, the volition, right? The volition instigates the mind, the 89 chittas, the 51, rest of the 51 chetas, the rest of the chetasikas, which is 51 in number, right? 51 in number, towards that karma which is done. That karma is done by the power of the chetasika, volition chetasika, right? So with
When you say wholesome and unwholesome volitions, are they the 33 chittas?
are they the 33 chitta?
That's the 12 unwholesome.
Why are you talking about that at this moment?
Because we were talking about the volitions.
So volition is present in any chitta. No, we are talking about the volition chetasika. Is it not? We are talking about the volition chetasika. The volition chetasika isn't volition present, isn't it present in all chittas? It is. We are talking about that. We are talking about the volition chetasika. Is that clear?
I thought we were talking about wholesome and unwholesome volitions, no?
No, we are talking about volition.
Okay.
Right? We are talking about volition chetasika. Is that clear?
Yes, Bhante.
Yeah, we are talking about the volition chetasikas. In asynchronous karma, we talk about wholesome and unwholesome volitions. Asynchronous. In sahajata, we are talking about any sort of volition. Any sort of volition.
Wholesome, unwholesome.
Everything. Indeterminate, everything. Right?
Okay.
Everything. Any volition, we are talking about the volition chetasika, which leads on the karma front. Then we have asynchronous karma. Asynchronous karma is the karma is done here, the result is given after a certain gap, and this gap can mean in 1 minute or 5 minutes or a lifetime or 10 lifetimes, or when you attain enlightenment, right? Whenever there is a gap, and that is this. What conditions that? Wholesome and unwholesome volition, right? Wholesome and unwholesome volition. That is Noeline, that 33. Right? That 33. Because we talk about now the wholesome and unwholesome volition, because those are the volitions with the power to now give some sort of result in the future. Right? To give that sort of result in the future. Now, right? Now, the conditioned states becomes any of the resultant chittas, their respective chetasikas, and their karma-born matter. Now, something that we need karma-born matter, because this is the result of the 33 past wholesome and unwholesome chittas. Something that we have to note here is මෙතන කර්මපතේ කියන දේ සම්පූර්ණ වෙන්න ඕන. Correct? If the karmapata is not going to be completed, how can it give rise any moment other than the present? Do you understand? The karma path needs to be complete. That is why we have past wholesome and the unwholesome volitions. Is that clear?
Yes,
Past,
Bhante.
past wholesome and unwholesome volitions. With regards to cognizant, a more thing. Whatever decisions that you make at this moment is going to fruits of which, if you start walking downstairs, you're going to start walking downstairs, right? The rupa, so the change of body or mind is all going to be attributed to the fact of that mind that you have at that moment. ඒත් එක්කම සහජාත රූපයෙන් හටගන්නවා. Do you understand?
Yes, Bhante.
Right? Is that clear, everyone? The difference.
Bhante,
Yes.
you said karma pataya is required for asynchronous, yeah?
Yeah.
But for pravritti karma, you don't need, I thought you don't need karma pataya. Karma pataya is required only for
Patisandhi.
patisandhi.
Yeah. 33 past wholesome and unwholesome volitions.
Yeah.
6 resultant chittas, 38 chetasikas come upon matter. Yes, you're correct answering.
Yeah, okay.
Karmapati avashanai.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Karmapati avashanai. 33 past wholesome and unwholesome volitions.
Yeah.
36 resultant chittas, 38 chesikas come upon matter. Yes,
Yeah,
Kamma.
yeah.
Right?
Thank you.
Not the Kamma. Thank you, Damsari. All right. So is that clear, everyone? Right? So 33 past wholesome chittas and the unwholesome volitions. Now what Noeline mentioned with regards to the differentiation of the past wholesome, and Sujata, do you want to say something?
No, Bhante.
Hari.
No.
The 33 past wholesome and unwholesome volitions, right? And here the volitions in the 89 chittas. The 33 past wholesome and unwholesome volitions. Now, I hope it is clear that here we do simply take the chetasikas, regardless of whether they are wholesome, unwholesome, or indeterminate, within the 89 chittas, found within the 89 chittas. So we are simply taking the chetasika. We are simply taking the chetasika. Here we are taking the 33 past wholesome and unwholesome volitions of the chittas. Karma. Is that clear, everyone?
So that's the 12 unwholesome, 8 beautiful, 9 sublime, and 4 supramundane.
It should be. What does that all come together to?
Comes to 33.
Wonderful. That's it. Right? That's it. So here we are taking the chittas. Here we are taking the volition chetasika. Is that clear?
Yes,
Right?
Bhante.
Yeah. And then may chitta and ganna hinda metana the resultants are taken here. Okay. Understood? So with a break, a gap, it is with these resultants, right? That these resultants, that this would give fruit, right? That this would give fruit. So here, if we are to do something of within the past, right? Some sort of akusala in the past, and owing to that akusala, if we are to undergo some sort of, let us say, some sort of disease or illness, right? That would come about with this karma born matter here. Is that clear? That karma born matter here, right? That karma born matter. This in the past is able to instigate this in the present or the future. Yeah. All right, everyone. So let us stop there. Okay, so I will see you all tomorrow morning for our meditation, and take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Well done.